Okay, I wasn't planning on filming anything today, but I've been thinking a lot about something to do with Revolut and I want to share it with you. So this is Revolut's original pitch deck from 2015. You've got Nikolai Storonsky's personal email address on the front page, and this document spawned a $75 billion company. And I want to read you one slide from it because it is the slide that started everything. And it says, spending money and sending money abroad sucks because banks are three things: expensive, inconvenient, and, this is their word with a cartoon fox next to it, sneaky. And then the very next slide attributes a number to that sneakiness: $60 billion a year, lost due to fees and spreads. And remember that word, spreads, okay? Because we are absolutely going to come back to it. And their solution, so the why are we better slide, the first bullet point says interbank rates. If you don't know what that means, that's essentially the real exchange rate that you'll see on Google. It's the rate banks give each other, and there's no sneaky margin baked in or hidden fee as we usually refer to them. And to be completely fair to Revolut, that promise was real. It was genuinely brilliant, and it's the reason I've recommended them for spending and sending money internationally for years. Now, there's a line in The Dark Knight. You probably know it. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And I just can't stop thinking about this quote in the context of Revolut, because they began as a hero. They came to the rescue of the consumer, people sending money internationally, people who were sending money home to their families while simultaneously paying big legacy banks and payment providers twice, fixed fees on top and margin buried in the exchange rate underneath. And Revolut were the hero. They offered a low-cost alternative which included the interbank rate, so their customers, every time they sent money or spent money, it cost them less, which is fantastic. But being a hero isn't very profitable, so they had to pull back their generosity. First, a small weekend markup appeared, 0.5%, because the markets are closed on the weekend, and that's fine, that's fair enough. Then it doubled to 1%, then fair usage caps arrived, so on the free plan you get £1,000 a month or €1,000 a month at the good rate, and then pay 1% on everything after that. Then last year the weekend fee became a paid feature, so upgrade to premium and it disappears. So the thing they were founded to give everyone for free became something you pay to get back. But here's the one that really gets me. And it actually happens somewhere in the middle of all of that, not at the end. At some point, quietly in the terms, the interbank rate itself vanished. It wasn't like there was a huge announcement. It was more just an edit to a legal document. I'll read you what their current fee terms say. We use our Revolut exchange rate for money currency exchanges. This rate is set by us. And then it goes on to say, and I'm not making this up, it's hard to say this with a straight face, we think you'll really like it. And Revolut's own website says on a blog post, their exchange rate includes a small markup. So what you need to know ultimately, if you're familiar with Wise, for example, they offer the mid-market rate and charge a visible variable fee to cover their costs. Revolut's rate sits below the mid-market and they share the rate, so you can see and calculate the difference to see what they're making, but the difference is theirs. And it's on top of other fees, which could include a weekend markup or a fair usage. So I don't really see why I would like it, personally. What's also quite interesting, and I think this is really important, and I'll read this direct from Revolut's business website. With Revolut Business, you can exchange currencies at the interbank rate, which is the same rate banks use. We don't apply additional markups during market hours and within your plan's allowance. So the founding promise isn't dead. It's just no longer for personal customers. And I somewhat get this because business banking is far more profitable, so they can offset the cost or justify not generating revenue from FX in order to be more competitive. And I can't predict what Revolut will do, but perhaps once B2B scales large enough and they're a huge player like they are in consumer banking, perhaps then they'll be tempted to use the Revolut rate for business customers as well. Possibly, that's just my opinion. Now, does any of this actually show up in Revolut's revenue figures? Well, foreign exchange made Revolut £606 million last year. That's up 43%. Now, to be fair, that's a whole revenue line, so it includes their fixed fees, and they've grown massively, so I can't tell you how much of it is because of the rates themselves, but by their own description, part of what personal customers pay now lives inside the exchange rate. And that's really important because this is the exact mechanism their own pitch deck pointed at. And that brings me to something quite fascinating. 2 months ago, they launched this, the Dogecoin card, right? It lights up when you tap it. But more importantly, the website says no exchange fees. So I tested it. £25 of real money straight through the card, and I tracked every penny using Revolut's own numbers. Now I'm saving the full breakdown for Friday's episode. That'll go live at 2 p.m. when Jan and I discuss this card in full, so please subscribe if you don't want to miss that. But the headline is that I bought something on Amazon for £16.16, and using this card, the one with no exchange fees, it actually cost me just over £18. And Dogecoin actually went up while I was doing it. So not a penny of that loss was market movement. So where did nearly £2 go on a card that has no fees? Well, do you remember that number from the pitch deck? $60 billion a year lost due to fees and spreads. Well, that was the villain. That was the fox. That was the entire reason this company was created. And their newest product, the fun one, the one with the glowing dog on it, carries a spread behind a headline that says no exchange fees. You either die a hero or you live long enough to launch a light up meme card. And Harvey Dent didn't wake up one morning and decide to be the bad guy. It happens gradually, one reasonable sounding decision at a time. And by the end, he genuinely believes he's still the good guy. A small weekend fee here, a fair usage cap there, a quiet edit to the terms. Every single step is defensible on its own. And then one day you look up and you're publishing a rate that's set by us, telling customers they'll really like it. And look, I want to be really clear here. I'm not saying Revolut lied to me. The rate is set by them and the markup is disclosed, including in this blog post where it says small. So every word on these pages are technically true and legally sound. But their entire founding pitch, the thing the whole company was built on, was that technically true is exactly where the sneaky fees live. Zero commission, no fees. Every bank in 2015 could say those words with a straight face, and Revolut's genius was pointing at them and saying, you're being dishonest. Okay, please get in the comments. Let me know what you make of this. And I must say that I do recognize how sending money internationally with Revolut is still competitive, especially with the paid plans like Ultra. But also, if you are using Ultra or even Metal, how do you feel about not getting the mid-market rate or the interbank rate? And still, regardless of paying, in some cases as much as £50 a month, you still get the Revolut rate, which includes a small markup. Also, if you want to continue the conversation in Discord, then come join the channel, become a founding member. I'd love to see you over there, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.